caught me deep. It hurt to feel. It's taken time. The wounds they heal.
As your TV reviewer, I can reveal there are no plans for a new series.
Yeah, no, but wasn't there a previous series?
Oh, hang on, wait a minute. It says here there might be a new series. What's the problem?
That music can mean only one thing. It is, of course, time for Porky Vision, and it is, of course, the best TV review this side of pretty much anywhere you can think of.
Yep.
The Mexican Wall, the Great Wall of China, any wall, the Berlin Wall, perhaps, which is still there.
Yes.
What do you got for us this week, Mr. Parry?
Well, I tell you what, I'm really shocked at a series called Grantchester.
Yes.
Now, Grantchester is a village just outside Cambridge.
Right. Well, in real life.
In real life,
Yeah.
it's a real village. You know, it's like if you called it Halifax or something like that. You know, it's real. And I tell you, who lives there in reality, Lord Archer, the novelist and former jailbird.
That's him.
Which I don't wish to stress upon.
We don't want to go into that. No,
we don't want to go into that. You know, and
behind the pipes behind the Victoria Station or whatever.
All that, and Lady Mary, of course. You know, she lives
Fragrant
there.
Mary.
Fragrant Mary. Yeah. And this Grantchester thing is all. The plot is ludicrous. It's about a policeman who's played by Jerome Robson.
Yes.
And he's known as Geordie because
Yes.
he's got a Geordie accent. So he's moved down from Newcastle to Grantchester.
Jerome Robson.
What's it? Robson Jerome?
Robson Jerome.
Robson Jerome. That's him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's so incompetent. I mean, honestly, if I shot you now and Jerome Robson was standing here, he'd go and find 6 detectives to find out, you know, who committed the crime.
Which is very different from the way he is in that terribly, you know, that Blood on the Wire or something. Is it? What is it called? Wire in the Blood.
Wire in the Blood.
Which is very sort of gory and horrible. But he plays a very clever sort of psychiatric.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, no, in this one, he plays a bungling cop who likes to drink a lot.
Oh, yeah.
For some unknown reason, goes into pubs. This is set in the 50s, by the way.
Right.
And he goes to the pubs and he plays blackjack.
Oh, right.
Is it blackjack? No.
Blackjack?
What's that one where you unfold the board and there's things inside it?
Backgammon?
Backgammon. Thank you. Yeah. He plays
backgammon.
He plays backgammon.
I didn't even think that was a game in the 50s.
Well, it was, and at the end of each puzzling case, you know, he says to Sidney, who is the vicar,
yes,
who's graduated from Cambridge University, very clever man.
Okay.
Come on, Sidney. You know. Yeah.
So he's still a Geordie then.
Whoa, Sidney. Let's go a backgammon and a
always
pint.
Plays a Geordie.
Yeah, he plays Daft Geordies,
Yeah.
you know, and all this, unless he's like doing a real geography program when he's in a boat, you know, driving around in the North Sea and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, So, what's his name? Robson Jerome.
That's him, yeah.
Now, Sidney is played by a very famous actor with ginger hair, who was in Happy Valley as a villain and a rapist.
Rapist?
Yeah, and he was in War and Peace.
Was he?
As a soldier, and I've forgotten his name, but you can look it up on your pad while I'm talking.
Yeah.
He's a very famous actor, and he plays Sidney in Grantchester.
Okay.
Now, he solves all the cases, right?
Even though he's not the copper.
Yeah, but the thing is, he is a very heavy drinker. Well, you know, he's always reaching for the whiskey bottle.
Right.
He smokes incessantly, and he's very fond of women.
Right.
Now, a moral issue has arisen here. I think
not James Norton, is it?
James Norton.
Is that
That's him, James Norton,
okay.
yeah.
Right.
Now, I think what's happening here is, I think the writers of Grantchester are literally trying to put over a message about morality in the Church of England.
Right.
Because this guy, Sidney...
Yes.
is simply behaving in the company of women in very appropriate fashion. For instance, his girlfriend is a woman who is married to another man who's already punched Sidney in the face for getting too close to his wife, right?
Is that Kathy Keating?
Well, she's very attractive with dark hair. Let me have a look at this.
Is that her?
Let's
Casey Ainsworth? Yeah. Casey Ainsworth, would that be her?
No, that's not her. No, no, she's the wife of somebody else.
All right.
So, but this woman's very attractive. Yeah, dark hair.
Margaret Ward, is that her? Maybe.
No. Now, talking about her, I'll tell you about Margaret Ward in a minute. So what happens is...
Oh, here we go. Amanda Kendall must be her.
It's Amanda Kendall.
Yeah,
that's right. It's Amanda Kendall, right? So Amanda Kendall obviously has lit a candle for Sidney the vicar, who's a highly intelligent guy from Cambridge University who wasted his life by becoming a vicar. I'm sorry I have to say that, but I think if you get a Cambridge degree and then decide that, you're going to devote the rest of your life to the church. I think it's a waste. I think you should become a lay preacher and then get a job in industry. But anyway, the point of the story is he's been pursuing this woman to the extent where her husband's already punched him in the face and injured him.
Can't blame him, really.
Can't blame him at all.
No.
If a vicar was training around after my wife, I'd give him a good kicking as well.
Yeah, well, you'd have to step in, wouldn't you?
I'd go and smash him in the face with a communion wine bottle or something like that, just to, tell him not to push it.
Think of the Stations of the Cross.
That's right, yeah. So anyway, what happens is, Sydney is constantly in turmoil about his feelings for women.
Right.
But he's been told by the bishop already, ease off the married women, Sydney. We're the Church of England.
Yeah. Well, he can get married if he's a vicar anyway.
Yeah, of course he can. Yeah, so the bishop
said... He has to be celibate, does
exactly, there's plenty of single women out there, so, why don't you, turn your attention to them, leave the married women alone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's disgraceful,
It's
isn't
shocking,
it, when you think about it.
Yeah.
So anyway... So I'll put
He's not that old either. He's quite young, isn't he?
He's not that old. So I'll put that on hold for a minute.
Okay.
Because what's also happening is that Geordie, the thick copper, who couldn't literally solve... honestly, he wouldn't be able to solve a crime if
I've seen Neil Morrissey's in this show as well.
Neil Morrissey just made an appearance.
Oh,
He's not a regular character.
Okay.
He was an individual.
Right.
But what happens is, Sydney has now decided that Rogerisation with the very attractive Margaret, what was her name, Ward?
Margaret Ward, yes.
Beautiful looking girl. She's not like the secretary in
She's a bit older though, isn't she, by the looks of it?
Not really, no. And she plays the role of a sort of the administrator at the police station. So she's not like a secretary, she's not his secretary.
Right.
She's a civilian controller of the police station, but she wears beautiful pencil skirts of the age, 1950s. All the cops are lusting after her. They show...
Does she have seamed stockings?
Yes, that's right. But what they do is, again, I don't know what the makers of Grantchester, what sort of message they're trying to put over, but they show close-up pictures of Margaret Ward's beautifully shaped bottom as she's going up the stairs in the police station, and all the policemen, open-jawed, lusting after her. Yeah.
Blimey.
So anyway...
near the knuckle, isn't it?
Anyway, so old Geordie...
A bit like Pippa Middleton.
Yeah, a bit like that.
Yeah.
Old Geordie, Robson Jerome, finally sort of gets in there.
A lot of people are complaining that it's not Robson Jerome, it's Robson Green.
Oh, Robson Green, that's him. Yeah, that's it, yeah. So they're all complaining, right, that Robson... No, they're not complaining. Sorry, Robson Green finally decides to get in there.
Yeah.
So the next shot we see is Robson Green, who is a married man with 3 children.
All right.
One of whom suffered a terribly difficult birth in a previous episode, and he went off on the ale around Cambridge.
Oh, because he was depressed about
it. Because, I can't face my child dying.
Right.
Well, the child didn't die, and if you'd have been there to help your wife, it would have been...
in those days, you say that, you couldn't do it. You didn't allow husbands anywhere near the childbirth scenario.
Well, no, but after he'd been born, he was very poorly. No. So when Robson Green got home after the birth, and she brought the child home, he said, he's very poorly, I'm not sure he'll survive.
I can't do it, I better go on the lash.
He went off on the lash and started,
Because I remember my dad telling me when I was born, he wasn't allowed into the hospital because it wasn't visiting hours.
Yeah, well.
And my mother had to hold me up to the window.
Oh, yeah.
Where he was standing 2 levels down.
Yeah.
To wave to me.
That was a shock.
No, well, I mean, it's astonishing how it's changed. I mean, now if you're not at the birth of your kids, you're thought to be some kind of beast.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. So anyway,
sorry to interrupt you.
So Robson Green's now got in with Margaret Ward, and he's Rogerising her on a regular basis.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, what about, doesn't she have any morals? I mean, she knows he's married.
Well, you'd think so. That's
a shocking scenario.
So anyway, so old Sydney, right?
Not as thick as he looks then, is he, really?
Well, Sydney starts giving him a lecture and saying, you break up your family.
Sorry, I thought Sydney... Oh, Sydney's the priest.
Sydney's the priest,
sorry,
yeah. So Sydney, who's very close to the family and all this kind of stuff, So he says, Geordie, you shouldn't be doing this. He says, I know I shouldn't, but, I can't resist her and all that.
Yeah. Well,
you've seen her in those pencil skirts, I'm telling you.
Of an excuse,
where I come from, in Geordie land, bonny lad and all that, Right. So you've got this married man playing away with the girl at work.
Can you take him seriously if his real name is actually Geordie?
No.
I mean, he's a Geordie. Why is he called Geordie?
Well, because there's no other Geordies in Grantchester in the 1950s, so obviously they call him Geordie.
That's mad.
Like if a Scotsman had arrived, they'd call him Jock, wouldn't they? They did in those days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway... So this is all a very unsavoury situation. Meanwhile, the trainee priest who's come along to work with Sydney is out in the field trying to seduce a woman.
There's already been crime being solved here.
This is exactly what I'm saying. Trying to seduce this woman, but he's not very good at it because he is virginal. And she's having to sort of steer him through the...
Which one is this? I've got the cast here, so who's
Well,
this
he's
DC Phil Young, is that him?
Let's have a look.
The youngish guy, that guy?
No, he's a copper. No, it's the young vicar. It's the second vicar.
Oh, right, okay.
Second vicar who lives in the vicarage.
Right.
Meanwhile...
Oh, there we go. Reverend Sam Milburn.
No, that's not him either, no.
Right.
But at the vicarage, they've got a really draconian woman who looks after them both, you see what I mean?
Oh.
And she's constantly, berating...
Like sort of Mrs. Mop figure.
Yeah, Mrs. Mop, yeah, she's constantly berating James Norton.
Go on. Somebody's just said,
What?
Are you sure you're not watching reruns of Father Ted?
No. This is serious. Anyway, so old James Norton, constantly being told by the housekeeper woman, your morals are all over the place. You're supposed to be a man of the cloth and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it is, but he's always half cut on whiskey and smokes 40 fags a day.
Unbelievable.
Leaning on the bar in the local, pub and all that. But anyway, the last scene of the last episode even shocked me.
Yes.
And I've had a life. I mean, I've seen things. I've been around the houses.
Yeah.
And what happens is, old Sydney gets a few whiskies down his throat.
Right.
And then for some unknown reason, leaps on his bike and gets around, literally on his bike.
Yeah.
And cycles round to the house where the married woman lives.
Right.
Knocks on the door like he's going to knock it down. She opens it.
Is this the married woman in the pencil skirt?
No. She's being romanced by Geordie.
Right.
Yeah, being Rogerised by Geordie. Right. No, this is the very attractive woman, Margaret
the other
Ward.
one. Yeah, I know. I got you, yeah.
No, not Margaret Ward. The very attractive... Amanda
Kendall.
Amanda Kendall.
Okay.
This is Amanda Kendall.
Yeah.
So he's banging on the door. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
She opens the door.
Right.
No... where's the baby, how's the baby, and like that, rushes in, literally grabs her, starts tearing at her clothes, she starts tearing at his cassock, right,
blimey,
turns her over, and it's a good job the cameras went off then, because they were about to indulge in Rogerisation on the stairs.
What about the husband?
Of her house. Well, nobody knows where he is.
Blimey.
Nobody knows where he is.
Almighty.
And I mean, this has really shocked me. Shocked me so terrible. I mean, this is
terrible.
Yeah, absolutely shocking.
Yeah,
absolutely shocking.
Blimey.
And I fear for the whole moral integrity of this place called Grantchester.
Yeah.
Because everybody's at it.
I'm not surprised.
Everybody's at it.
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is this going to go on for the whole summer?
Well, who knows? Yeah. There's more episodes of it to come. But I thought I'd better warn the flock, as I call my followers, and I suppose that's what old Sydney calls his parishioners. About what is going on here.
Absolutely. Stoddard says this sounds positively shocking, Porky.
Yeah.
Get this smut off our screens.
Exactly.
Porky Vision.
Exactly.
It is an absolute disgrace.
Yeah.
This is talkSPORT.
Yeah.
You caught me deep. It hurt to feel. It's taken time.